Hola a todas las personas que nos ven este video, bienvenidos una vez más. Esta vez tenemos a una actriz sumamente talentosa, una leyenda, Dawna Heising. Bienvenida, Dawna.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Doy las gracias antes, quien será nuestro traductor, César. Antes de recapitular en los años 80, me gustaría saber sobre el tema de los personajes en el que ella los ha protagonizado o tal vez actuado en diferentes estilos, secundarios, cameos. Y la pregunta concreta es, de los personajes que recuerdes, ¿cuál de ellos es el que más ha influido en su filosofía de vida y en el que pudo aprender a tener más dominio?
Dawna, starting off talking about your whole career, back in the early days and now, of all the characters that you have played, what is the most influential on you as a person? The one that you say, oh, that character teach me so much as a person.
Well, I played so many characters that, I've loved all of the characters that I've played. But I was in a film called Finding Purpose, Road to Redemption, that's on Amazon Prime now. And I played a wife named Sky Cahill, and I loved that character. Actually, I've done a lot of films recently that I'm really proud of. I played one of Eddie Griffin's minions in a film called Bad President that's also on Amazon Prime now. And I have to say, I have been working so hard because I've got 3 leads coming up, and I'm shooting 2 in March and 1 in April. And the one in April is for a film called Distortion, and it's a film by Rod Smith. And Rod Smith is a great screenwriter. He wrote the films Mayday and Lockdown, which were distributed by Lionsgate. So he wrote the screenplay for Distortion, and it's a fantastic film. I'm playing a psychiatrist, and I have so many lines to memorize. I mean, it's really stressing me out because I've got three scripts now, and so I've been taping myself, and when I'm not here talking to you, I'm listening to that tape all day long. But I do feel I want to play characters like the psychiatrist in the future. I want to play intelligent characters. I don't want to be known for B movies anymore. I want to do quality movies. And I thank God that Rod is considering me for this. Well, that Rod gave me this role, actually, because I think it will show a different side of myself.
Okay, I will translate. Thank you.
Okay.
John, una gran pregunta y una gran respuesta. Dice que obviamente es una gran carrera, son muchísimos los personajes que ella ha interpretado, pero que uno de los personajes que más la ha marcado es el de Finding Purpose, obviamente una película que ahorita está en Amazon Prime, creo que ya hemos hablado previamente de esa película acá, donde hace el papel de Sky Cahill, y otro de los papeles que más la ha representado, que más la ha marcado, es el de Misery en Bad President. Resulta que...
Wow.
Sí, yo sé que te gusta mucho. También están esos papeles más serios han llevado a que ahorita esté bastante ocupada. Viene a filmar algo en marzo, viene a filmar algo en abril. Ella ahorita nos está diciendo que en medio de esta entrevista está manejando niveles de estrés grandes porque está oyendo tapes, oyendo cintas, para aprenderse uno de los papeles más complejos que tiene, que es el de una psiquiatra. Ya te digo, la película está justo acá en IMDb. Ella va a interpretar a una psiquiatra en Distortion 2021. Es una película, para ella es un honor que Rod Smith, director y guionista, le haya dado ese papel. Es un papel complejísimo, una psiquiatra. Dice que este papel es el tipo de roles que desea seguir recibiendo porque ya no desea ser conocida más como una actriz de cine B, sino seguir trabajando ya con personas, pues bueno, se tiene muy claro que Rod Smith ya dio el salto y ya está dirigiendo producciones que van más allá de este llamado pues cine B. Él recientemente, ya ella me dijo el nombre de una película, creo que se llama Lockdown, hizo una película ya con un gran estudio y pues la agarramos en medio del aprendizaje para el guión de Distortion.
Got a good memory.
Yes.
I'll try to keep my answers shorter.
No, don't worry.
Okay. You know what? I took 4 years of Spanish. And so I know it, but not well enough to talk or not well enough to understand, and I wish I did. I mean, I wish I could remember everything.
Okay. Dice Dawna que pues tenemos muy buena memoria, que ya tomó 4 años de español, pero pues de clases, pero desea tener pues digamos como el nivel. Dawna, but you can say what words you can you say in Spanish? You can.
Well, I could say, hola, ¿cómo estás? Because I also learned Chinese too, and all I can say is Zaijian, which is goodbye.
Ok, estamos bien.
Bueno, esta vez le doy la palabra a César para que puedas preguntarle a Dawna.
Pues hola, igual es un honor estar aquí en la entrevista con Dawna y pues bueno, yo quiero preguntarle el por qué la pasión por actuar, cómo surge el amor a la actuación.
Dawna, why do you have so much passion for your work, for the art of acting, and how this passion was born on you?
Well, if you look at my IMDb page, I've been in acting for quite a long time because I started when I was really young. But I took, and I love acting. I've always taken it in school. I have a degree in acting. So, because I don't believe that you can go into it without being trained. I think you do have to know what you're doing. And then I was with a theater company for a while, but I left acting and I joined the business world maybe 15 years ago. No, maybe 20 years ago. And so I was in the business world for, at least 10 years. I was a VP of marketing. I have an MBA in marketing and publicity from Pepperdine University. So I worked at technology companies and I built their publicity departments and I got publicity for the companies. But I missed acting a lot while I was in business, even though I'm a very driven person. So I was working my way up the ladder, and it was difficult in technology companies, but I always missed acting. And I think I came back to the business about 10 years ago, and I had a lot of time to think about how much I missed it. So I've never stopped working. I've never stopped learning my craft. I've never stopped trying to do bigger and better films. I mean, as you guys can see from my IMDb page, when I first came back, I did everything because I just wanted to get the feel of being on the set again. And in those days, when I came back, it was so different because anybody with a camera could make a film. So I did a lot of projects that, let's say, I wouldn't do today. Now I'm trying to be really careful. I'm studying Shakespeare. I've done two Shakespeare videos. I played Hamlet and Lady Macbeth. And I just want to be the best actress that I can be.
Ok, ella dice que, bueno, como pueden observar en el IMDb, tiene una carrera que se extiende por muchos años, pero ella en realidad retornó a la actuación hace 15 o 10 años. Por eso es que ustedes ven ese espacio que hay entre esos años. Ella tiene un MBA en publicidad. MBA. Ella es una publicista y trabajó muchísimos años con compañías de tecnología, un mundo muy distinto a la actuación. Pero ella dice que, o sea, siempre estuvo esa pasión y ella estudió actuación, degrees, grados de actuación. Al retornar hace 10 años, eso la llevó a hacer muchos proyectos. Dice que la industria, y eso es un punto interesante, pues si se han preguntado ahorita, la industria cambió mucho porque de 10 años para acá, cualquier persona con una cámara puede realizar una película. Entonces, dice que los roles que ejerció antes, ese tipo de roles no es ejercerlos ahora. Ella ha tomado clases de actuación e incluso ha tomado clases de actuación en Shakespeare y ya ha hecho obras en Hamlet como Lady Macbeth. Entonces, esa pasión, o sea, es así como para resumir, ese retorno a la actuación la ha llevado a recordar el por qué ama esto y a estar constantemente aprendiendo.
Wow, esa es muy buena pregunta de César y muy gran respuesta de Dawna.
I hope you guys will see Bad President. It's really funny. You know what? It's not, I'm a publicist too, and it's not getting as much press as it should because of the pandemic. I mean, it was supposed to come out in theaters. It premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. Wow. And I've gotten like at least 6 rave reviews for it, but I can't seem to publicize it anymore. So I hope that you're an international audience. I hope that you will see it and, you know, tell your fans to see it, to watch it. It's so funny. And Eddie Griffin is the star.
Ok. John dice que es muy importante que se le dé publicidad a Bad President. Creo que tú estás esperando ese proyecto bastante, porque dice que por la pandemia se suponía que tenía que estar en teatros, e incluso Bad President iba a estar en Cannes.
Yeah, and if you look at Eddie Griffin, you'll know who he is. I mean, he starred in major films. He's so funny.
Of course, we know, I will translate. Dice que el ingrediente especial de Bad President es, bueno, aparte de las buenas reseñas que ha obtenido la película, es que la estrella es Eddie Griffin, y obviamente, les voy a hacer la pregunta, ustedes saben muy bien quién es Eddie Griffin, ¿cierto? Obvio. Y pues dice que por favor que se le da publicidad para llegar a una audiencia mayor, porque está por culpa de la pandemia, esta película, que es más, yo le voy a hacer la pregunta a Dawna. Yo creo que esta película pudo haber estado compitiendo ahorita en premios grandes. Dawna, I will do a question about Bad President. Since all that we can say backlash or lack of publicity, do you think that Bad President got the elements maybe for if that movie, of course, come out as should be, to be participating even in this award season? So, do you think that, oh God, that movie can be, an important award nominee, or one of the movies that you can say, oh, that's a movie that must have on a top 10 of 2020? Tell me.
Well, I told you I want to do bigger and better roles. I mean, I'm doing leads now, but I have a small role in Bad President. I played one of Eddie Griffin's minions. So actually, Eddie Griffin is in all my scenes, and that's why I'm so proud of it, because it's not really an indie film. It's my biggest, I mean, it had a huge budget. It had a budget of like $400,000, and it's a SAG film. And like I said, it premiered at Cannes. Stormy Daniels is also in it. It had like a huge cast. Param Gill is the director, and it should be a huge film. But with the pandemic, I'm not really sure. It couldn't come out. It was going to come out in theaters, but I'm not sure what's happening now. I don't know if Param wants to put it into film festivals. I hope he does, because it would win. I guarantee it would win every single one, because it's not an indie film. I mean, its budget, it's a SAG film, and its budget is huge. So I hope you guys will see it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The production quality is fantastic. So I've gotten reviews for it, and it's on my website. I've kept all the reviews there. They've all been rave reviews, but I'm waiting to see what Param wants to do. I don't know if he wants to put it into film festivals or not, but I hope that everyone will see it.
I am reading, and yes, there is some great reviews. Dice que yo le pregunté si esta película, si hubiera tenido, digamos, la publicidad que se necesitaba o el apoyo en medio de la pandemia, sentía que esa película hubiera podido estar compitiendo incluso ahorita, que sea en la temporada de premios. Dice que sí, porque Bad President no es una película indie, de hecho tiene un presupuesto de $43,000, ya es un presupuesto
elevado, un presupuesto bueno.
Un presupuesto muy bueno. Dice Dawna que así interpreta un rol pequeño, siendo una de los Minions, o sea, una de las malvadas de las compañeras de Eddie Griffin. No es que tengo que verla porque quiero ver a Eddie Griffin.
No, en serio, es muy bueno.
Dice que ella comparte todas las escenas con Eddie. Todas las escenas con Eddie. Y además de que viene que hay un buen equipo, o sea, hay un buen equipo de actores y un buen director. Y ella dice que las reseñas que tiene, por ejemplo, subidas a la página, demuestran que no es una película que, a pesar de que dice que es comedia, es triste. O sea, es una película que, o sea, yo sabe que estoy diciendo acá, yo siento que esta película hubiera podido competir. Ahorita la que está, digamos, siendo nominadas, por ejemplo, Borat, yo creo que esta hubiera superado incluso, porque pues todos sabemos que la secuela de Borat no quedó como la primera. Él dice que tal no sabe si Paramount es la que está haciendo como el backlash para que no tenga la emisión que debe tener esta película. Entonces, John y César, la emisión ahorita es hacer toda la publicidad para Bad President.
Eso sí es verdad. Pero
porque,
bueno, antes de continuar con esto, ahí sí está con nosotros Joan para que esté con Dawna.
Hi Dawna, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited to be talking to you finally. And thank you for all the clips, John. Those are wonderful. I mean, you guys are technical geniuses. I couldn't do it. Oh, hi.
Hi, Dawna.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Te estaba diciendo, Dawna, que, bueno, aparte que gracias también por todo, como digamos, con la publicidad que has dado en tus redes, por todo el apoyo, y nos dice que somos unos genios técnicos por todo lo que está haciendo. Y que para ella es una dicha al fin poder hablar contigo.
Thank you, Dawna. I'm excited this night to talk with you too. Andrés, quiero preguntarle a Dawna un poco si nos podría contar la experiencia de cuando ella grabó en los 80 en Blade Runner, en Hospital y en la Isla de la Fantasía, porque la verdad me intriga mucho saber cómo era la grabación en esa época, a diferencia de ahorita. ¿Ya qué diferencias ve, qué semejanzas hay?
No, y no solo lo voy a preguntar, voy a agregarle ahí también la de Big Trouble in Little China. Okay, Dawna, tell us how was the experience of working back in the early 80s, Blade Runner, in Fantasy Island, in General Hospital, and I will add in Big Trouble in Little China. What is the big difference working on those productions back on those years, the difference on filmmaking, on the art of filmmaking?
Well, there's a huge difference. Actually, I worked on 2 big budget films that were close to it. I mean, Bad President had a bigger budget. So it was in a studio and we had craft services and a huge crew and all that. Then I worked on a film called Samurai Cop 2 when I came back, and I had a scene with Tommy Wiseau. I had a small role in that, but it was with Tommy Wiseau. So that had a huge budget too. I think both of them had budgets of between $350,000 and $400,000, which for me is a big budget. So those are more like what I was used to. When I first started out, I think Blade Runner, I was a dancer in Blade Runner. I started out in all of these huge projects and I had small roles in them. But I mean, they all had huge budgets because there were only the 3 networks and then these huge big budget films. So, I mean, the craft services table was great. There are millions of people in the crew, and everything was lit. On Blade Runner, they built a Chinatown set. I'm not sure which lot it was. It was either Paramount or Warner Brothers, I forget. But one of the studio lots, they built this whole city of Chinatown. And I worked on it for like 3 weeks. And we worked through the night. And there was all of this fog going through and millions of people. And luckily I was a dancer in it because they had like tons of extras. I mean, they had millions of extras. And I remember being on set when Daryl Hannah was supposed to be doing the backflip.
Yes.
It was her stunt double that did it. But it was such an exciting set. And to be working with, legendary people like Ridley Scott, I mean, it's, how do you compare that to the indie film business right now? That's why I'm so driven to get back to where I started, even though I had small roles then. I have leads now in indie films, but I do think I've got the lead in a film called The Paradise Motel that I'm going to be shooting in March. And it's a SAG film, and it's got a wonderful script. And then Distortion, Rod is hoping that it will get distributed by, he's got connections to huge distributors. So I have high hopes for both of those. But, I guess I was really spoiled when I first started out just because there were only big sets available. And then I played Cleo the Snake Dancer for the last Magnum PI. And I thought that was my big break. I was dancing with a snake, but I ended up like this big billboard behind Tom Selleck. But, anyway, I was really happy to do that. But it's like I'm used to working on those. I was used to working on those type of sets. And then, when I started over, I was working on sets that were just completely different. You can tell with the lighting, the production value obviously can't be the same on an indie film, but I'm trying to work with people now who can make the production value look like a major film.
Okay, great answer. I will translate. Joan, qué preguntota. Bueno, y seré breve, ¿no? Dice que en los 80s eran 3 estudios los que dominaban todo, entonces por consiguiente eran sets enormes. Dice que, por ejemplo, en Blade Runner se construyó toda esa ciudad, toda esa barrio chino fue construido en un set enorme y se grabó en 3 semanas ahí. O sea, imagínense, toda la niebla, todos esos fueron efectos físicos. Bueno, ya acá intentaré en 9 minutos decir eso. Y resulta que, bueno, sí, ella aparece en la escena como la bailarina con la escena que Daryl Hannah hace el backflip. Y pues fue una experiencia increíble, pues que listo, estaba Ridley Scott, estaban esos grandes actores, Harrison Ford. Todo eso la llevó a seguir trabajando, a tener la suerte de seguir trabajando en estos estudios, y para ella el gran break cuando trabajó en Magnum P.I. en una escena con Snake, y que incluso ahí creo que le entendí que iba a salir en el afiche y salió con Tom Selleck, o como que Tom Selleck la tapó, algo así, pero ese fue el gran rol. Dice que cuando ella retorna a la industria 10 años, o sea, ya ha pasado 10 años atrás, dice que la diferencia es grande y uno nota esa diferencia con el tamaño de los sets e incluso con las mismas props que usan para la iluminación. No es lo mismo la de un gran estudio. Pero por eso ella menciona que Samurai Cop 2, obviamente una de nuestras películas favoritas, y Bad President son el ejemplo de lo que es el tipo de películas que pueden llegar a ser producciones similares a los años 80. No son películas pequeñas, son presupuestos altos, son películas, pues con ella dice, ¿no? Pues en Samurai Cop, pues trabajar al lado de Tommy Wiseau, esto, y ella desea volver a hacer ese tipo de películas. Bueno, se viene obviamente la Distortion, la que ya hablamos, y una película que se llama Paradise Hotel, que ella va a empezar a grabar. Esas dos películas son las que le permitirán volver a esas etapas de cómo era grabar en los 80, de hacer roles un poco más grandes y acomodar el círculo completo, ¿no? El círculo completo de haber trabajado en esas producciones. Dice que está tomando nuestros nombres porque pues, es publicista y para pues, colocarla en sus posts de Instagram, por ella está tomando fotos. Ok, qué honor.
Qué honor, qué honor.
Qué honor, that's such an honor. Thank you. Ok, bueno, esperamos.
De hecho, ahí quiero comenzar, porque ya estamos grabando. Me encantó mucho la respuesta de Dawna que le preguntó a Andrés sobre las películas de las épocas doradas a las actuales. En los 80, muchas personas que dicen quiero que las películas se hagan a como se ven ya más adelante, se ven en la actualidad. Ahora ya en la actualidad dice, quiero que las películas que hacemos tengan un toque de los 80. Entonces, esa es la psicología de que a pesar de tantas ideas, de tantos logros que uno cosecha a través del cine, trata como de perfeccionar a que todo fluye. Y eso es lo bueno que hemos de saber en esta parte. Y también lo digo en el año 1982, en los cuentos de los monos dorados se proyecta hacia un futuro y cuando uno la ve, dice, esto piensa que es el futuro, pero estamos atrás. No sé qué perspectiva tendrá ella referente a esa película.
¿Cómo es en inglés? Tales from Darkfall. Sí. En la serie de televisión, sí.
Series de televisión, sí, señor.
Okay, Dawna, John was talking to the audience, telling that we can see now, as for your answers, that back in the 80s, filmmakers were trying to imagine the future. Now good filmmakers want to take those teachings from those ages to do good movies. John, want to ask you, in your work from Tales from Darkfall, how was your experience, and what was the things that we can apply now from that TV series from that days to the world now in the industry?
Well, I think, anytime that you want quality, you'll get it. Like, you're filmmakers, so you probably know this better than I do, but you have to start with a good script. If you don't have a good script, then there's no way that you can have anything good. And I've learned that because I've said yes to people. In the beginning, I was working all the time because I said yes to everyone, and I didn't have the script. And then I would look at the script and I'd go, I mean, it's not it. My uncle is Tak Fujimoto. I mean, he was the DP on Silence of the Lambs and Philadelphia and Sixth Sense. So he's a legend in the business, and there are just some things that I couldn't do, but I did end up doing a lot of bad projects. I have to say, but I've learned you have to look at the script. You have to have a good cameraman. You have to have lighting. For me, lighting is so important. I've worked on a lot of indie films where there's no lighting and you can't see anyone's face. And I mean, my friends are great actors, and a lot of times I would bring them onto the films I was doing, and you couldn't even see their face. So I think you just have to strive for quality. You have to shoot from 3 angles. You can't just do one master shot and then just think that's okay. I mean, even if you don't have a budget, you can spend the time to try to make your film good. You need to start, like I said, with a good script, but then you need to get a good cameraman. And there are so many people who want to get into the business. I mean, you could get someone who cares about their work and who knows about lighting, who wants to set up lights, and make sure that you hire actors who are trained, who are educated, and who will memorize their lines. There's so many things that you can do in order to ensure that you have a quality film. And I think it all begins in wanting to do a quality film. You can't just brush through and see how many films you can do in a year and, that type of stuff.
John, dice que lo primordial, y pues dice que eso lo sabremos más nosotros que somos realizadores fílmicos, dice que lo primordial es un buen guión. Es un buen guión, o sea, de lo que podemos aprender, un buen guión, que el guión es la base de todo. Contar con un buen equipo. Bueno, ella nos dio acá un dato buenísimo. El tío de ella está Fujimoto. Fujimoto es el cinematógrafo, el director de fotografía, El silencio de los inocentes, de Sexto Sentido, o sea, películas como ese gran maestro, y que él le dio muchas veces esos consejos de que no hagas este tipo de películas, que ella terminó haciendo, pero pues al hacerlas ella aprendió mucho. Dice que contratar un buen cinematógrafo, un buen director de fotografía es importante, porque muchas películas o indie fallan porque, por ejemplo, no saben iluminar los rostros de los personajes. Dicen que hay que muchas veces en el set ella tuvo que ver esa cuestión de estar grabando y ni siquiera poder ver la cara a la persona con la que estaba hablando porque la iluminación era pésima. Dice que siempre grabar desde 3 ángulos, jamás casarse con una toma maestra. Dice que ella en ese trabajo quiero hacer varias películas al año y no tal vez como aceptarse hacer el trabajo no voy a hacer una película pero que tenga los elementos básicos. Entonces dice que de este tipo de series como aquí son los 80 se puede aprender ese tipo de ética de trabajo y que por eso ella desea o está retornando este tipo de proyectos que tienen. Esta sería así digamos sean proyectos indies, pero son proyectos indies que están bien hechos. Reglas muy básicas que mira que muchas veces uno las olvida.
Sí, ella nos recuerda en un resumen muy definido y eso es muy importante de saber. Además, ya hablando sobre el tema de las películas a como lo vemos en la perspectiva, hablemos muy bien sobre el rol que ella también ejerce como periodista, entrevista a la gente grandes, leyendas, sobre todo en la serie Age of Entertainment. Ahí es donde ella realiza, o sea, varias tomas hacia colegas de ella, grandes estrellas del cine, ¿sí? Entonces, lo que me gustaría saber es cómo ella logra un proceso en el que lleva ya más de 10 años en continuación, sin que de pronto la audiencia se desnivele en el sentido de que son tantas los temas de actualidad que a veces eso influye, pero siempre la esencia está.
Donna, let's talk about some other aspect of your career. That's your work on entertainment. One show that spent so many years. John wants to know, how is your work ethic, knowing that there's so many people that you had interviewed, that in the years sometimes there are a lot of subjects, but you continue doing that show, keeping an audience, keeping people interested in all those years in that particular show. Tell us about Entertainment.
Well, actually, I started, I told you that I was the vice president of marketing and publicity in technology companies. And I missed acting so much that I started Ion Entertainment with a friend of mine named John Cox. And he was a cameraman. He was a great cameraman. And we would go down to Hollywood and interview this manager's clients. And it so happened that this manager handled all of the big people in horror. So I became really good friends with Bill Oberst Jr. and the late Domiziano Arcangeli and, all of the big horror stars, because actually my favorite genre is comedy, drama, action, sci-fi, anything but horror. But I got to know everyone in horror because I was doing interviews for this manager, and his name was Matt Chasen, and I'm grateful to Matt for connecting me with his clients. And so I would work 60 hours a week, and then on weekends we would go and interview his people, and I would put out press releases for these people because it's what I did at work. I put out press releases for my companies. And then we worked our way up. We covered the Emmys. We covered the Oscars. We could never get into the Golden Globes or the Grammys. And those are ones I wanted to cover. But when I came back to acting, I didn't want to do the show anymore. I wanted to devote all my time to acting because I'm not in acting to be famous or any of those type of things. I just want to be a good actress. And that takes, you have to spend all your time training. You can't just, I don't really care if anyone knows who I am. I'm grateful that you guys are interviewing me, but I was in over 100 contests. So, if I don't really want to be famous or anything like that, I just want to be a good actress. So now I use the show to just promote the films that I'm in. What I do is, I use it to publicize those films. I'll do interviews with the director and the co-stars of films that I'm in to publicize the films. I did one with Robert Amico, who is a producer on Bad President. And so I only do it, to publicize the films that I'm in because my producer, Rena, I'm working with someone else now. She's a technology CFO, and she has a PhD, and so she has a full-time job. So I have to wait for her to set up, whoever sets up your show is a genius, and so is Rena, but I can't do that. I could barely get on Zoom today. So I need someone to do that for me, and she just has limited time. And then now I'm trying to learn 3 characters for films. So don't really have time to do the show anymore, but it's a great tool in promoting the things that I want to promote, because I will never act in something that I don't promote. I'm just trained to do that, you know, and I think you owe it to the people who hire you to promote the film as much as possible. And I think, John, I mean, you see what I post on Instagram. It's just about the films. You know, it's not about, well, once in a while, you know, I'm a swimsuit model. Once in a while, I'll put up a picture, but mainly it's to promote my films. You know, it's not for anything else. I'm starting to put some pictures of my family, but I'm still cautious because that's dangerous, you know, mostly on Facebook, not Instagram. But so I use it to promote films and to publicize things.
Okay, I will translate. Como bien saben, antes de que ella retornara a la actuación, hace 10 años, pues ella era vicepresidenta, incluso, de en publicidad en una compañía electrónica, y trabajando con un tocayo suyo, con John, en cámara, pues ella logró unos contactos. Miren cómo es de graciosa la vida. Ella ama todos los géneros fílmicos, menos horror, pero logró los contactos de todos los managers más importantes del horror en Los Ángeles. Entonces, al lograr esos, pues al tener todos esos contactos, pues tú, ¿qué es lo primero que haces? Los entrevistas. Por eso logró hablar con esos managers y de primera mano tener esa gran lista de invitados que tuvo en el programa. El programa fue llegando a un nivel tan grande que pues ella cubrió Emmys, ella cubrió Óscares, nunca logró cubrir ni Grammys ni Globos de Oro, pero tuvo una ética de trabajo muy constante hasta que ella retornó a la actuación, y Dawna dice que si yo retornaba a la actuación era 100%, o sea, yo no iba a retornar. Dice que el objetivo ya no es ser famoso, sino ser una buena actriz. Dijo que si vuelvo a la actuación, vuelvo de lleno, pero a veces usa ese formato de entertainment para promocionar los filmes en los que ella está y pues patrocinar darle publicidad a los directores con los que ella está trabajando. Es por eso que, bueno, ahorita ya no tiene el tiempo y está con una manager, que la manager tiene un PhD y no tiene el tiempo para dedicarle a entertainment. De hecho, el tiempo de ella ahorita está en aprenderse los 3 roles que dijo que está. O sea, ahorita nosotros estamos interrumpiendo en el aprendizaje de 3 roles que para los 3 filmes que va a hacer, pero que ella, más sabiendo que es publicista, todas las redes que ella usa, si tú te has dado cuenta, y ahí te hablo a ti, John, ella lo que hace es publicitar 100% los trabajos donde ella está. De vez en cuando
sí,
una foto de la familia o algo, pero es muy cautelosa, y si lo hacen en Facebook y no en Instagram. Pero todo ese pasado como publicista es lo que enfoca en Entertainment y digamos, mostrar ese detrás de cámaras, esos detalles de las producciones de las que ella está ahora.
No, y aparte, yo amo mucho esa parte de Age of Entertainment y también de Dawna of Darkness. Eso, para mí, esas 2 secciones son de lo mejor.
Dawna, John wants to tell you that not only he loves Entertainment, but Dawna of Darkness.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I use Dawna of the Darkness to promote the films that I'm in too. Like, it's always behind the scenes. Like, I'll probably promote this show with on IMDb with a behind the scenes show, you know, which is why I'm taking pictures. Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for a way to promote my friends, you know, or promote even shows that I appear on. I don't, you know, to be perfectly honest, I could interview people in my sleep because I've done it for, you know, almost 20 years now, but I get really nervous if people interview me. Like, I mean, I was a wreck today. You know, I mean, it's nerve-wracking to be interviewed. I mean, I enjoy it once I'm here, but that, you know, it makes me nervous, more so than acting.
Ok, dice John que, oiga, esto es una buena primicia. Al parecer vamos a aparecer en detrás de cámaras porque ella, toda la Dawn of the Darkness, es la forma en la que ella promociona su trabajo como actriz, no solo en las actuaciones, sino en todo el proceso. Entonces, como ella dice que siempre toma fotos porque siempre quiere promocionar a los amigos y a las personas que están pendientes del trabajo. Dice que ella lleva 20 años haciendo esto, entrevistas, y ella puede hacer entrevistas incluso en una vaca, que siempre lo ha hecho, pero que es el cambio de roles de hoy, que la estemos entrevistando, pues sí, le genera nervios, dice que es nerve-breaking, o sea, eso es como que genera nervios, el hecho de saber que alguien es entrevistado y eso. Es nada, prepárense que vamos a salir detrás de cámaras.
Muy buen dato, gracias, Dawna.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
and since you're filmmakers, one thing that I can tell you is I'm not a producer, I'm an actress, but make sure, and I've seen your work, John, it was great, but when you decide to do your film, make sure that you get a great script, you know, make sure that you get great actors who care about the work, make sure you get a good cinematographer. But another thing that will help you too, that I'm finding out, is I mean, filmmakers make films because they love the craft, and that's great. But also, if you want to get your film distributed, and John, I sent you, maybe I didn't send you the top 5 aggregators, but it's something I've started looking into just because, you know, because of the trouble I've had with Road to Redemption. It was one of my best films and it never got distributed. And I don't know why, but you want to get your film distributed so that it will get on all of the streaming platforms. So you need to be aware of who the distributors are and who the top aggregators are. There's Film Hub, there's Wixbeat, because you do want people to see your work. But another thing that will help is to cast at least one A-lister in your project so that whoever is publicizing your film will have an easier time of it, and that distributors will be more interested in your film. I've been very lucky because the great Akia Leong is my mentor, and you would probably have to look him up, but he was in Braddock Missing in Action. He's 86 now, you know, but he's been in so many films. So check out his IMDb. And I'm playing his wife in a film coming up. He played my father in Road to Redemption. He says that he's always willing to be in the films that I'm in, which is great because he's someone who is so easy to publicize because of his legendary status. You know, you look him up and you'll be really impressed. And I see hopefully I see a big future for Bad President because Eddie Griffin was a star. You know, it does help to have someone who's been in the industry a long time and who is very famous in your film and have a good publicist too. And I publicize everything that I'm in. So, you know, not saying that I'm great, but I mean, I actually have a PhD in it, but I mean, I'm educated, so I know what I'm doing.
Dawna, I will ask you to write the name of the star of his signature here in the chat. Then I will translate. Ok, John dice que independiente del consejo que nos dio, bueno, de conseguir un buen guionista, dice que es muy bueno saber con qué persona, con qué compañía vas a distribuir las películas, que podrá sonar, digamos, muy simple, pero es algo muy complejo. Dijo que Dawna te dice que te pregunta a ti si te envió el top 5 de distribuidoras, si no, ya te lo va a enviar. ¿Por qué? Dice que Ese detalle es el que llevó a que la película Road to Redemption, que pudo haber tenido una gran acogida, no haya sido distribuida de la manera que debió ser. Entonces, dice que otro consejo que nos da es, bueno, aparte de conseguir un buen distribuidor, este es un poco complejo en Colombia, ¿no? Pero dice que siempre tener a un A-lister, a un actor de gran escala, porque eso ayudará a que los distribuidores se les haga más fácil decir, oh, bueno, esta película es protagonizada por él, entonces la podemos distribuir de mejor manera. Dice que este detalle es importante porque es el clave para que Bad President sea distribuido de la manera que es. Dice aquí John que estará agradecido si le envías lo de las. You send to John the top five of distributors that you say.
Okay, yeah, it's the top 5 aggregators. And I sent you the first one, but I didn't send you all 5. So I'll send you that article because I think it's, this is a great time for filmmakers because theaters are shut down. So if you could get your film streamed, people are watching. I mean, I never watch films, but I'm watching films every night now because there's nothing else to do. So it's like I've seen so many films now that I never would have seen before. So if you could get it distributed, there are so many channels to put it on. And I don't think it'll ever go back to the way it was where films will be introduced in theaters. And another thing is there are so many film festivals. Like we just did, I work with Rena and a really great filmmaker named Craig Railsback. And his uncle is Steve Railsback. And he played Manson in Helter Skelter. He's a star. But Craig is an American Airlines pilot, but he's also a great filmmaker. So we shot a scene from Hamlet in his backyard. And it's just like a 4-minute scene, but it turned out so great that it's gotten accepted by 2 film festivals now. And it just has me doing a monologue from Hamlet, but the lighting is so spectacular. Craig did a great job on it, and then Rena edits it. And we had no budget. We just did it, but we had, Craig's a great filmmaker. Rena's a great editor. Rena teaches editing. So obviously it turned out great because of that. But we didn't have any money, but the lighting was fantastic. It looks like we spent a lot of money on it because the filmmakers were so great. So, and it only had me in it. So, another way to publicize the things that you do is to enter them into film festivals.
Okay, Dawna, please write in the chat the name of Rena and the actor who play Manson, please. So
okay. I'll send it to you on Instagram, John. Okay, I'll send you all the stuff because that's how I know. Well, actually, I have your email now. I'll email all the information to you. If I can't, then I'll send it through Instagram. But I'll send you all the names that I've talked about.
Ok. John dice que te va a enviar a Instagram o a tu correo los nombres de los que he hablado y lo del top 5 y el artículo. Dice que
muchas gracias, Dawna.
Dice que es muy importante lo que ella nos dice por las distribuciones, pues por la realidad que se está viendo ahora. No vamos a volver a la realidad donde una película se exhibía en un cine. No vamos a volver. Y es un gran momento para festivales de cine y es un gran momento también para los streamings, los servicios de streamings. Dice que eso la ha llevado ahorita, que ella nunca veía películas, pero ahorita ha visto muchísimas películas que jamás pensó que iba a ver. Y dice que estas oportunidades la han llevado a... Bueno, le pedí que me escriba el nombre, pero ella hizo ahorita un proyecto de actuación en el patio, pero con una iluminación bellísima de Hamlet, con el actor que interpreta a Charles Manson en Helter Skelter. Yo sé que se llama Craig, pero no me acuerdo el apellido, ella te lo va a enviar, pero que estas oportunidades, digamos, como que exhibir una película en un festival, le ha permitido conocer esas personas y esos talentos. Dice que conocer esos talentos es muy importante porque no solo es el hecho de tener un A-lister o un actor principal buenísimo en una película, sino el skill, el talento, que sean actores pues que se aprendan sus líneas, que sean muy talentosos y todo. Entonces nada, yo sí quiero ver ya esa actuación de Hamlet con Charles Manson.
Yo quiero preguntarle si ha tenido, bueno, si quiere en un futuro dirigir alguna película, de qué género sería, y también quería preguntarle, bueno, qué actores contrataría, porque quiero saber qué actores son su inspiración, a qué actores admira.
Cesar got 2 questions. First, I know, Dawna, that you had directed some projects, but if you got the opportunity to direct a big movie, what will be the genre, subject, and what would be the actors that maybe you want to direct? And talk us, please, what are the actors or the actresses, of course, that inspired you? But in the days, the actors that you want to hire or actresses, and the actor and actresses that inspired you as a performer.
Actually, I don't, I have a lot of credits as a producer and a director, but it's mainly for my show, Ion Entertainment, because a lot of time when I'm on the set, if I just go with the cameraman, it's like I have to tell everyone what to do. So that's an abbreviated form of directing. It's like I know where the lights go, I know, but I'm the one asking the questions and then we're sitting in a seat. So I wouldn't really consider myself a director. That isn't something that I would take on because I think you have to do so much, you're responsible for the whole project. I direct, well, I'll send you my Hamlet video, but actually Craig directed me in it. Even if I'm the only one in the film, I don't even direct myself. So, I don't consider myself a director, really.
But who are the actors and actresses that inspired you as a performers?
Okay, well, I love Michelle Pfeiffer. I was in Miss Orange County and she was too. So, I've always, and I think she's gorgeous. So I've always loved Michelle Pfeiffer. And I know she left the business for a while. I think she's a great actress. I love Angelina Jolie. In the old films she did. Like, I think every time I watch her, she doesn't disappoint me. I haven't seen her in anything lately. I know she's got 1 million kids, so she's probably being a mother, but she was great in Salt. I just think she's always very realistic. Lately, we've been watching a lot of old movies. My husband is a financial advisor, so he falls asleep through movies. I never make him watch my movies, but he likes Robert De Niro. So I've been watching a lot of Robert De Niro stuff, and he's always fantastic. And then I take acting at South Coast Rep, which is the biggest theater on the West Coast. And I take it with Matthew Arkin, who is Alan Arkin's son. So I'm trained in a theater situation, and they give you these plays that you have to do with your scene partner. And I've never seen those films, but I've been watching a lot of Marlon Brando, like On the Waterfront, and all of the old time films with Brando, and the plays that I never, or Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. I'm so embarrassed I can't remember the playwrights. Tennessee
Williams.
Yeah. Okay. Well, those great. I mean, we're assigned all of these old-time plays, and I've never seen those films, but now I'm looking at those films, and those actors are fantastic. Elizabeth Taylor, I mean, she wasn't just known for her beauty. She's a great actor.
I will show you this. I got this as a poster. All movie stars.
Oh, okay. Well, then you know what I mean. It's, guy, I saw Casablanca. I went with my mom to this theater in Orange County that plays old-time films, and I saw Casablanca. I'd never seen anything like that before. It was one of the best films I've ever seen, and I think, if you're raised on the films of today, you always think, they can't be as good, but they're better because of the story, and just, I don't really know because they're historical, but those are amazing films.
A great taste. Okay, I will translate. César dice que ella obviamente ha dirigido los episodios de Ion Entertainment y Dawn of the Darkness, pero dice que ella nunca tomaría el rol de directora. Dice que mucho por hacer, mucho por hacer. De hecho, cuando ella dirigió los episodios, generalmente daba unas indicaciones al camarógrafo de iluminación, pero generalmente era ella al frente de la cámara haciendo las preguntas. Dice que no, que ella se está concentrando ahorita en actuación. Entonces le contrapregunté y le pregunté pues, sobre los actores y las actrices que me inspiran. Dicen que, bueno, Michelle Pfeiffer, creo que lo escuchaste, que dice que está retirada un poco ahorita ella, pero que ella la vio en Orange, como ella vio en Orange County, pues la vio, dice que es hermosa. La otra es Angelina Jolie, dice que la admira mucho por sus trabajos pues, cuando ella inició, pero que también le gustó mucho su rol en Sol. Sí, Sol es una película muy buena. Y que, pues, listo, que tal vez ahorita ya está retirada, pues, con muchos hijos, pero que es una actriz que le da un realismo a sus actuaciones que que va a sonar español, es vital, ¿no? La cuestión es que ella, al tomarse en serio las clases de teatro, que de hecho está, si no me equivoco, trabajando con el coach Matthew Arkin, que es el nieto o el hijo de Ellen Arkin, que es una gran actriz de teatro. Eso le ha permitido conocer de primera mano los guiones de Tennessee Williams y digamos de grandes guiones teatrales que fueron llevados después al cine clásico, cine de los años 50, que bueno, La gata del tejado caliente, películas, pues, guiones que ella decía, estoy viendo estos guiones pero nunca he visto las adaptaciones y son increíbles. Entonces esto la lleva obviamente a ver la obra de Marlon Brando y pues On the Waterfront. Dice que pues el esposo es un analista en negocios y que generalmente se queda dormido en las películas, pero con el esposo, al ser admirador de Robert De Niro, ella está viendo ahorita la obra de Robert De Niro, y lo que más le ha impresionado es que como ella, gracias al teatro, está conociendo este cine antiguo, por eso le mostré el afiche, y que pues ella está sorprendida pues del trabajo de Elizabeth Taylor, de estas obras clásicas, entendiendo que en el cine clásico pues se adaptaban las obras directamente del teatro. Y algo que me tiene intrigado es que en las clases de teatro están grabando cortos. Son cortos que solo no salen, solo se quedan ahí, pero están haciendo esos trabajos. Entre esos, el trabajo de Hamlet, donde aunque ella jugó un gran rol, el que dirigió fue después el actor que hizo de Manson, ¿no? De Prey, pero que ya técnicamente ese corto es de los dos. O sea, ella hizo un corto en el patio de su casa con una excelente iluminación.
Wow.
De Shakespeare, o sea, wow. Ok, wow.
De hecho, Dawna, ahí yo veo en Tubi TV, no sé si hayas visto, Robo-Woman, Slime, House of Pain, Garden Party, Bloody Revise. Son filmes que yo le he recomendado a Andrés y a César y en el cual nos gusta muchísimo.
Dance of Blood, acuérdese que me gusta mucho Dance of
Blood. Oh,
Sí.
eso sí es increíble. Además de esas películas surge esta gran pregunta que es, bueno, la preparación para escenas que son, bueno, clasificación R, ¿cómo se, cómo se ordenan para que no haya ese estilo de, como dice, algo de alteración entre los actores y que de pronto no disguste en el tema, en la proyección? Porque cuando uno vio Slime, Bullet or Blow, no vimos de esa alteración como es el tema explícito, sino es en la historia. Y cuando uno se sumerge en la historia es donde uno dice, wow, increíble. Y también pasa en la serie de televisión que ella fue guionista, que es Edge, que me encantó muchísimo ese episodio.
Okay. So, Dawna, for preparing this interview, John has seen the movies that are streaming that platform to TV, like Robot Woman, Sling, House of Pain, Garden Party Massacre, Daily Revisions. I recommend him personally, Palette of Blood, I think it's great. And he wants to ask you, how is the preparation to record R-rated scenes? So to do it in a very mature way that the actors of the people involved and the audience that's watching don't get affected, but get interested in the subject. He also wants to know your role in, I think the series is called Edge, that you write an episode. How was that experience?
Well, Edge was something that we did. That's when I met Rena. Rena was my Final Cut Pro professor at Golden West College. So I take martial arts. I take Tang Soo Do. So I wanted to do an act, and I'm also a pole dancer. So I wanted to do, but this was years ago when I first came back, and so I got a lot of my friends together, and the Golden West College Film Department helped us make it. So that was something that we did as a group a long time ago, and I got major people in it. I mean, I got great stunt people, people who were established who did it as a favor to me because they were my friends because of Ion Entertainment. The show has been really great in introducing me to people. You know, I have met so many people because of Ion Entertainment. So I'm really happy I did it, even though I want to act now. As far as R-rated scenes, I think you asked a question about that.
Yes.
If you've seen all of my films, actually, I do much more comedy. Mm-hmm. You know, it's really strange because I am a swimsuit model, and when I first started out, I played a lot of prostitutes on TV, you know, but I've really never had a love scene or anything like that. I can't do nudity because my uncle is Tak Fujimoto, you know, I can't embarrass him. And I also have 2 daughters, you know, so there's no way that I would do nudity. And I've never done a love scene either. You know, Road to Redemption was the closest to that. And all we did was, you know, my husband slapped me in the head and threw me in the lake. So, you know, I've never really had a love scene. I do have to say that I have the lead role in a great SAG film called The Paradise Motel coming up. And I have, my manager is Joe Williamson, and I have a great new agent named Diana Carter. And so I'm really excited about that. But I read the script, and there was one scene, kind of like a psycho scene, where I don't want to give away what I do, but I'm in the shower. So, like I said, I don't do nudity, but I'm in the shower. So we've resolved it that I'm going to be covered by the shower curtain. And, Joe took care of things for me. So, I'm a swimsuit model, so it's not going to bother me at all because, I think I'll show more with a swimsuit. So that type of stuff doesn't bother me at all. As far as an R-rated scene, no one's ever offered me one. So, I'll have to see. I think I'm a good actress because I've studied for at least 20 years now. And obviously, and I use sense memory. I know I could do it if the project was a great project, and if I was covered up, on HBO and Showtime, you see all these naked people all the time, and that we zoom past those parts. I just don't think it's necessary. But I could do it, like I said, if I was covered up. Probably. I probably wouldn't. I am trying to get not out of horror films, but I'm trying to expand from horror because. Bad President was a comedy. Garden Party Massacre was a comedy. I think I'm best at comedy and sci-fi and action because I'm a martial artist. I'm not a good one, but I am. I saw a Jackie Chan movie last night and he's fantastic. I could never do those things. But I think one of these days I would like to do a love scene. It'd be something different. I think I could make it real. But it would have to fit into the story. It couldn't be gratuitous.
Okay, I will translate. Thank you. John, dice que The Edge, aquí vas a flipar. En The Edge, que bueno, es un trabajo previo, en 2013. Digamos que ese episodio quedó al nivel que quedó, no solo por la experticia de Dawna, porque Dawna aquí nos cuenta que es artista de arte, es practicó artes marciales. Es también una pole dancer profesional, o sea, por eso ese rol quedó como quedó, y es una modelo de trajes de baño. Pero también lo que logró fue que bastantes personas que entrevistó en Entertainment prestaran sus roles como, en realidad, regalaran sus trabajos como por amistad, en coordinadores de dobles, o sea, una gran cantidad de amigos participó en ese episodio y por eso quedó a ese nivel. Sobre la grabación de escenas R-rated, dice que ella revisó toda su carrera y que, bueno, al principio en los 80s pues le daban roles de prostituta, pero posteriormente ella nunca ha realizado una escena de sexo. De hecho, todas las escenas de ella son comedia y que ahorita se viene un rol interesante que en Paradise Motel, donde, bueno, es una película triste y, bueno, acá hay un spoiler. Hay una escena en ducha, pero se decidió grabar con el reflejo que da en la cortina. Dice que para ella no hay problema si se le ofrece grabar una escena que requiera pues desnudez, porque ella es un modelo, pero que nunca se le han ofrecido. Dice que si la escena juega un rol importante en el guión lo haría, o incluso una escena de amor, pero si ella estuviera cubierta, o sea, si ella estuviera cubierta. Y dice que ella se ha dado cuenta muy bien que, pues, tú que viste Garden Party Massacre, y pues obviamente con su trabajo ahorita en Bad President, su fuerte es la comedia y el sci-fi. Entonces se ha dado cuenta que nunca ha tenido necesidad, que solo ha habido una escena cercana a algo R-rated, es lo que hizo en Road to Redemption, pero es más como una escena como una escena de amor que se torna después violenta, por así decirlo. Creo que es golpeada por el esposo ahí en la escena. Y dice que pues está sorprendida con esta creciente desde productoras como HBO o Showtime, donde en los shows siempre hay mucha desnudez. Y que ella generalmente pasa esas escenas porque siente que no es necesario. No sé si eso es lo que querías preguntarle sobre la Raid.
Sí, de eso y totalmente. Y que amamos varios blogs. De hecho, gracias Andrés por esa recomendación muy grande. Y tenemos la última pregunta que es de Joan para luego ya poder culminar con que ella nos diga sobre qué pasa con Bad President y los proyectos que están, porque es muy bueno.
Ok, Joan.
Hola nuevamente. Pues la verdad, lo que he estado escuchando, la verdad, ha sido una charla muy interesante, sobre todo en los aspectos de iluminar los rostros. Yo que he estado grabando bastante últimamente, también noto que eso es muy problemático. Y fíjense que quería preguntar sobre Bad President, porque la verdad estoy intrigado. He estado mirando los trailers y los avances que han publicado en redes y han sido muy emocionantes, principalmente porque hay una criollez tan grande que no imaginé que pudiera existir en Estados Unidos. Es decir, está este hombre comiendo pollo frito al lado de una piscina como si nada, se le aparecen mujeres sensuales y es como si nada tampoco. Es decir, quiero preguntar a profundidad, ¿cómo hicieron para escribir esta historia? ¿Es una sátira política? ¿Es más bien humor blanco? ¿Qué era lo que pensaba el guionista cuando la escribió? Y se estuvieron riendo mientras la grabaron. Tengo la pregunta porque la verdad se ve muy chistosa y no es solo un humor sencillo, sino que es un humor también inteligente, un humor psicológico.
Okay, Dawna, Joan, this is the last question. I was watching the trailer from Bad President, and he gets, I don't know if he gets shocked, but not in a bad way, because he wants to know in the first reading of the script, I don't know, how was the process for the writer? He say to you, oh, this is a satire, or oh, this is a comedy, oh, because he was watching the trailer and he said that he got amazed for the scene that he describes it like that, no? The president was eating fried chicken and somehow the beautiful lady appears and he said, what? This is not, in this case, in Colombia, the comedies are not like that, no? And he said, this is different. How
it's hilarious.
Yes, how the screenwriter
really, I didn't expect, to be perfectly honest, I didn't expect it to be as great as it is. I mean, it's hilarious because of Eddie Griffin and because of Jeff Rector playing Trump. I mean, he's exactly like Trump, but it was written by a real journalist. His name was John Buchanan. And so he just took the things that Trump actually did. And so it's kind of like one review said it's kind of like a Saturday Night Live sketch because it takes everything Trump really actually did when he was running for president and makes a satire of it. So, and then plus it had a big budget, and I mean, it had tons of people in it. Manu Intirami's in it. Stormy Daniels is in it. Robert Amico, Justin Shankaro. Robert Amico and Justin Shankaro were in it with me. Justin won a Golden Globe and an Emmy for the TV series Picket Fences. Manu Intirami is from Star Trek. I mean, there are tons and tons of people in there, but obviously Eddie's the big star. So I think just because it involves Trump, I think some people will bypass it and they won't realize just how funny it is, and now that I mean, I'm not political at all. I would have to, I told you guys, my husband is a financial advisor. So
I started.
he's not the most liberal person on earth, so it's not that I hate Trump. It was just a great film. Well, it's like I don't like the things he's done recently, but the film is just so funny. If you guys, you won't be disappointed, and that's why I really want people to see it and then spread the word, because I don't know what's happening right now. I mean, it can't go into theaters. It's on Amazon Prime, but I just don't know what the future is. And Eddie Griffin's the star, so it should be huge. Oh, and John Buchanan also. He was a real journalist, but he died before the film came out, which is sad.
Oh, that's sad. I was amazed. I will translate, but I was amazed because I think that this movie is like Primary Colors and Vice, but on acid and with real stories, because it's not a satire. It's real. It's the real stuff.
It's real, but it's hilarious because of Jeff Rector and because of Eddie Griffin, obviously. I mean, he's got a comedy show in Las Vegas, and he took all of the cast and crew as his guest to see his show. I mean, he's so talented. I'm one of his biggest fans.
In fact, I will tell this and I will translate. There is a meme very famous in Latin America with Eddie Griffin in one scene of European Gigolo. And that meme is famous in Latin America. I will show you then a meme as a joke. But I will translate. Okay, I will translate to Joan. Amazing answer. Joan, vas a flipar. La razón porque le escribí la escena tal como la dijiste, lo del pollito frito, lo de las modelos, y dijo, la razón principal por la que esta película tiene ese humor es porque todo es real. El guión fue escrito por un periodista que entrevistó a Trump, que conoció de primera mano todo lo que hacía Trump, y todo en el guión es real. Por eso uno queda como que esto, ¿por qué han salido de canones? Y no, realmente es Trump. Dice que no se sabe si esa es la razón, tal vez por la que la película no ha podido ser distribuida de esa manera, tal vez porque se ha visto como una ofensa. Y bueno, Dawna aquí nos dice que incluso ella no es una persona muy política. Bueno, ella dice que pues al ser esposa de un actor financiero, pues obviamente el esposo es republicano, pero que nunca ha sentido que sea una ofensa. Dice que esa película tiene elementos, o sea, el solo hecho de ser protagonizada por Eddie Griffin, el solo hecho de saber que el actor que está haciendo de Trump es ver a Trump, el solo hecho de ver que no es una película, porque yo le pregunté a ella si esto era como ver de Primary Colors o Vice, dijo que no, porque no es adaptado, es real, o sea, no es una sátira de lo que es Trump. Dice que la experiencia grabándola fue increíble, que Eddie Griffin es un actor que merece muchísimo más reconocimiento, que hubo una anécdota acá buenísima. Él los llevó, no me imagino eso, él llevó a todo el cast a los shows que él hacía de humor, los ¿cómo se llaman? Los stand-up comedies, y los llevó. O sea, imagínate eso.
Wow.
No, pues que por eso espera que esa película pues sea vista, está en Amazon Prime, que sea distribuida de la manera que es, porque es el Trump real. Y pues que lamentablemente el periodista John Buchanan, el que escribió el guión, murió. Pero pues hombres, está aquí, o sea, ya la quiero ver. O sea, no hay que decir más nada, hay que ver.
Eso está como el meme, es como el Disneylandia, pero para los expresidentes.
Es que eso es lo que le está explicando a Dawna.
I think it should have a different title, because everyone thinks it's just going to be a film bashing Trump, which is boring. It's not. It's a comedy. It's hilarious, And so it just really should have. I don't know what you should call it, but well, like, you didn't expect what you saw, right? It's not what people think.
Dice que tal vez otro de los problemas puede ser que el título haya alejado a la gente, pues porque al llamarse mal presidente va a sentir que pues está haciéndose un backlash, o sea, un ataque a Trump, y no es un ataque a Trump porque la película en sí es casi un documental grabado.
Andrés, pero sería mucho más hilarante y chistoso si se llamara The Good Man.
Joan says that the movie will be more funny if it's called The Good President. Oh no.
The good ex-president.
The Good President.
Defínanos, va president en una palabra y bueno, cuéntanos un poco detalles de la producción que va a ser y terminamos ahí.
Dawna, this is the last 10 minutes, so please, in one word, define Bad President and tell us little quickly something about the next productions that you are going to release.
About things that I'm going to be in, or
yes, or are in production.
Okay, well, I think I talked about them. I've got the lead in a film called The Paradise Motel, and it's got my first nude scene, which is not really, I'm a little bit nervous about it, but, I actually did wear underwear in Road to Redemption, but it covers more than a swimsuit. So, if you see Road to Redemption, that's another film that I'm really proud of, but it doesn't have distribution. So I don't know what's going to happen to it. But if you guys want to watch that, I'm sure that you'll like it. It's gotten rave reviews too, because of me. Because I'm the one that gets the reviews. Actually, the filmmaker has gotten rave reviews because he's a great actor. And then I've got Distortion coming up, and that one I'm really excited about. I've got tons and tons of lines, and I'm playing a psychiatrist. My daughter is a psychiatrist at UCLA, so I'm going to have to act like a doctor, which, you've seen Garden Party Massacre. I can do characters like that in my sleep, but this one is it's taking work. But it's going to show people a whole different side of me, and it's got a fantastic script, and I know it'll get distribution somewhere. And then I'm doing a young adult film with Rod Smith again this summer called Adrena, and I'm playing a villain in that. And then I'm doing another film. I'm so glad that I've met Rod Smith, because he's just a genius. He has a PhD in psychology, and he used to work for government agencies, and, kind of like, what's that series? Like the FBI, where they go around and they interview murderers. I forgot the name of it, but he used to be one of those type of people. So,
no,
it's a mini series, but it hasn't been on in a couple seasons, so I can't remember. But it was great, whatever it was.
Okay.
But that's his background, and now he wrote, like I said, he was the screenwriter for Mayday and Lockdown, both of which got distributed by Lionsgate. And he said he chose me partly because of I don't remember I think it's the Q score. I guess because I've done so many films, and I'm not a scream queen. I really am not, but I guess I'm well known in the horror industry. Everybody thinks that I'm a horror actress when I'm not, but I guess I've got a high rating. So he chose me because it will help get distribution. But I choose, he also chose me because he saw Garden Party Massacre. So he knows that I'm a good actress. So anyway, that's the film I'm really, really excited about. And I think I just can't wait to shoot it. We're shooting in New Mexico in April.
Ok. Bueno, John no nos definió, pero sí nos dijo que, obviamente, que ya nos había hablado de los proyectos. Lo importante acá, pues para resumir, es que en Distortion el director tiene un PhD en psicología, y al tener un PhD en psicología, él trabajó en asignamientos similares a los que hacen los detectives psicológicos del FBI. Ella dice que le recuerda una serie, creo que es True Detective, pero aquí no sé, su merced Milán, o Mindhunter, no sé, pero que él tiene... Y por eso ese papel es muy importante para ella, porque está aprendiendo psicología, la que es para los crímenes, además de que la hija ella es psicóloga. Bueno, dice que este papel, al igual que se viene pues la de Paradise Motel, donde pues la estrenaría, digamos, con la primera, ella le dice en broma, ¿no? La primera escena, un desnudo, pero más que eso es donde se muestra, digamos, ese tipo de actuación que ella ya había mostrado en Road to Redemption, que ella siente que es otro de los proyectos de ella, al igual que Bad President, que tal vez debió tener mayores vistas, porque muestra esas facetas que ella ha querido mostrar como actriz. Con Rod Smith, el director de Distortion, ella va a grabar también otro proyecto. Wow. Es lo que se tiene.
Oh, and one more. I'm also in a film called Canaan Land, which is my first faith-based film, and it's up for Oscar consideration. So it should be released this year. It's Richard Rossi's Canaan Land.
How is the name of the movie?
It's Canaan Land. I'll send that in the email too.
Se va a salir Canaan Land.
Canaan Land.
Canaan Land. Y Canaan
and
Land.
It's another comedy, but it's starring Richard and Rebecca Holden from Knight Rider. They're the stars of it.
Wow. Son con los protagonistas de Knight Rider.
Yeah, and she sings in it. She's gorgeous, and it is up for Oscar consideration.
Es una película que va para consideración para los premios Oscars.
Uy, felicitaciones, Dawna.
Congratulations.
Gracias, Dawna, muchas gracias por esta oportunidad, de verdad.
Oh, thank you.
Y en serio, muchas felicitaciones y espero que los proyectos tengan muchas más.
Thank you. This was fun. And I hope I see you guys one of these days. But I'll watch your films.
John, que espera vernos y que le pasemos los cortos. Porfa, pásale Sirena. Joan, obviamente, pásale sus. Pásale
también.
Ramon Blue Christmas.
We will be pleased to watch all little films.
Gracias, Dawna.
And please spread the word about Bad President, because it's really funny. You guys will love it. I promise you'll love it.
Por favor, promocionar Bad President.
Claro que sí.
Thank you.
Dawna.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.